Most people picture a conference trip as a speaker flying in, giving a few talks, shaking hands in the foyer, and heading back home. That has never been our philosophy. Ministry isn't an event for us, it is actually people. It's pastors, elders, students, weary leaders, and hungry churches. It's the hallway conversations, the living room theology, and the shepherding moments that you cannot schedule but must be present in order to catch them. Last week's 10-day, 1,600-mile trip put that on full display. Our first stop was Williamsburg, Virginia, as we were making our way to a conference in New Jersey, where we stayed with two of our students, a husband and a wife, faithfully serving their church. Before that night was over, another student joined us, and along with a church counselor, her husband, and the pastor. There were no stage lights, there were no microphones, just real people sorting out real ministry questions around the room for more than 2 hours. That's where the bulk of discipleship happens, face to face, unhurried, and personal. The next morning, we made our way to Delaware, heading to the New Jersey conference to spend 2 days with another husband and wife pair of former students of ours. Again, no conference in sight, just pastoral care, counseling, encouragement, a whole lot of laughing. These are dear leaders laboring in the trenches, and they needed more than a hello. They needed relationship, they needed presence, they needed clarity, and we gladly gave it. From there, we headed to our destination in Sewell, New Jersey, the official site of this conference. But even here, the conference wasn't the centerpiece. The people were. On the first evening, we met with a couple who leads men's and women's ministry, respectively. We stayed in the home of a graduate of our mastermind program and a current supervisor of our mastermind program. He and his wife is someone that we've invested in over the years and who is now bearing fruit in their own local church where I was about to speak. We also met with another discipleship leader before the conference ever began. Then finally came the formal event, 4 talks and an interview style conversation with the church that was tacked on. That was Sunday morning. They wanted to interview me about my book, Suffering Well. The 4 talks, the interview, and then we had a 2-hour workshop for biblical counselors. But when the microphones were off, the shepherding continued. We spent 3 hours debriefing with a pastor and ministry leader about that conference, walking through their church's discipleship challenges. Later, we sat for another 4 hours with the lead teaching pastor and his wife, helping them think through ministry burdens and next steps. But we weren't done. From New Jersey, we went back to Delaware to visit one of our primary donors, a partner who believes in our mission and shares in this fruit. Then we spent 2 days with yet another student and his wife, including a business meeting with their elders as they considered expanding their ministry, their local church. And that was followed by 2 more focused hours with their lead teaching pastor and their wife. Only after all of that did we begin the long drive home. That is what a conference trip looks like for us. Not merely preaching from a platform, but walking into the lives of God's people, students, pastors, counselors, elders, donors, and everyday believers, offering guidance and offering care, and giving encouragement wherever the Lord opens those doors. If your church wants more than an event, if you want relational whole church equipping that strengthens pastors, that trains leaders, that builds a discipleship culture, this is what we love to do. And we would be honored to do the same for you and your church or your organization.